So once I've made all of the different components of the song, like the beat, the bass line, the piano, guitar, or all that stuff, so like I said, I like to put everything in separate files. And once I have everything, I'll download everything and then put it all in one file. Because if you try to make everything in one file, it gets so laggy and everything gets very difficult to work with. So I like to just make it all in separate files and then put it all in one file at the very end. And that also gives me room to double up all the tracks however many times I want, so it gives me lots of freedom there. Alright, so now that we got everything in one file, so what I actually did is I transposed the whole song from F to G just for my own reasons. Uh, so here we got our bass line. If I solo it out. So I made everything, I give everything like a custom vocal track basically that I made for it. So on this one, for example, so if you click on the little microphone icon on the far left of the blue tab that says bass, it opens up this little page right here. Click on the bottom left thing that says custom. Yours might not say custom, but just the FX tab right there. Once again, that opens up the page with all the vocal chains. You can mess around with them or do whatever. There's lots of options, lots of different sounds you can get. This is not auto-tune. If you wanted auto-tune, you click the auto pitch button. You can turn it on or off. I don't use any auto-tune personally. I don't like what it does. Makes everything kind of sound wacky. It's not really going to do much because the bass line is kind of the root of the song. But yeah, let me just turn off the auto-tune. So, oh, and my thing still says F major, but I changed it already. So, yeah, once again, I'm going to show you kind of what I did to the bass line here. Just put a couple like reverb things in here to make it more kind of echoey. Phaser, I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of where the bass line is. Then we got our piano here. So you can see how I click the ambient rocker one. I decided that sounded good, so that's what I chose. Got our beat. I have the beat kind of quieter in this song because it's not too focused on the beat. But anyway, here. So custom. Yep, just used EQ, studio reverb, strings. Yep, so we got our strings here. It's basically just following the 4-chord progression. I'll actually show you how I made the strings as well. But yeah, it's pretty much the same as the piano, like how we were making, how like the 1, 2, 3, 4, the chords are changing. That's how the strings are, but you want to make sure that some of the notes carry over to the next, so it creates that kind of flow. And then I made that little kind of just repeats. The whole point of me making these strings, it doesn't really need it, but it supports the harmonies a lot. So here's it with the harmony. the harmony sounds like without the strings. So you sound a little more empty. The strings really support the...
This, I swear, is true.
And with the strings... So here's another string. It's just the solo one, the one that you can kind of hear in the song.
This, I swear.
So that's that stuff. Down here, we have a guitar. Kind of just like a little hint of guitar there. So I let the guitar kind of drop out right here to let the vocals come in. Then on the second verse it comes back in and then stays for the rest of the song. I split up the guitar into two parts, just me playing. Just playing a little bit there, and then I have some kind of bends. Some little knit bits there. And then like with that. So it sounds pretty cool like that. That's the way I kind of do the guitar. So with the harmonies, so when everything is together, it starts to sound pretty cool. Turn the volume down. It gets loud. See, you really want, like, you don't want everything to be too loud, but it definitely helps to have layers of the same notes with different instruments. Because then, if everything's too quiet, then when you're mastering everything, it's going to be really difficult. But if you have everything really, like if everything's really loud and you have lots of layers of the same notes playing, then it's going to make mastering a lot easier in the end. So, and also really quick what I did with the harmonies by themselves here. Custom. This, I swear, is true. Without the delay. The delay adds, it helps the sound be more like echoey. Compressor, yeah, you can see it's more present or less present. So undo that, and I'll explain how to really do your vocals in this, but that was just kind of like some basics. So here's kind of like what it sounds like.
This, I swear, is
This is without vocals. And then we got some nice little guitar bits there. Second verse comes in. And then we got our back here, we got something.
This I swear is
So that's what it sounds like. Alright, so here's what everything kind of sounds like together with the vocals and everything. I kind of turn the volume down a bit. So yeah, there's that. Soloed out. Sounds kind of loud by itself, but I mean it's fighting all the harmonies and everything, so just listen. My heart is yours, my dear. There will be. So, if I click on the blue microphone icon over here, so if I wanted to use auto tune, I would click auto pitch and just turn that on, and then it would sound kind of like this. My heart is... See, I don't like that, so let's just turn that off and not turn that on again. So, we're back to normal. Let's put our chain back on and we can look at it really quick. So if you click those, see the line that says custom on the far right side, there's the 3 dots and then there's the 2 lines with like the circles on them. So if we click on the 2 lines with the circles, we can kind of look at this vocal chain I got going on. There's lots of options and presets you can choose from. I picked out the 70s ballad one and then just added a couple things. So I added like distortion and delay. So basically I'll kind of go down the list here. The noise gate basically cuts out any extra sound. So like normally I would click on this and fade right here. And this one next to it I would fade right here. So there's no sound in between. But the noise gate basically does that for me. So I'll just undo that because at the moment I might go through and fade everything because I mean it would just help in the long run, but at the moment I haven't yet. So go back in here, distortion, kind of, I mean it kind of speaks for itself. It's just distortion. It'll distort the sound and make it kind of like a crazy guitar from like a rock song, or you can make it more muffled. So I'll kind of play. I'll go in here and I'll play it, and you can hear how it changes when I adjust the tone and the drive. My heart is yours. So I'm going to undo that, fix it, and then I'll play. My dear. More distorted, kind of choppy. There will be. So I'm going to undo that. So I mean, if you were like a heavy metal, there you go. Going back in here again, we got a compressor, so this will kind of just help us keep the volume at an equal level throughout all the vocals, and it'll help control the punchiness. So the way it's kind of set up right now is pretty good. The default setting pretty much for the 70s ballad that they had set up. Yeah, I mean the attack and release is just how long it's holding on to that punch sound in your voice, like when you go puh, puh, or something like that. So EQ right here, we got usually good to kind of raise the high and lower the mid, kind of like that, but just slightly above 0 and below 0, just so you're not going too crazy with it. In this case, they set it so the mid is just a little bit lower, and on this one they kind of lowered the low and the high. So I mean, usually typical EQ and pop, they like to raise the high and lower the low to make the vocal kind of shine and get that airy sound. So that's kind of a method they use there. Space Maker, it's just a reverb, makes it kind of more echoey, makes it sound like you're in like a large hall or like a church or something. There's a lot of echo sound, so it's kind of a simulation of that. The mix button will make it more or less. The size can also affect that. So delay gives you kind of like that slapback 80s sound in the vocal. If you ever listen to Phil Collins, this is how he achieves that. You just basically make it more wet or less, or more or less wet, and you can adjust the dryness, making it 0, making the dry level 0 will basically make it sound like a telephone, kinda.
There will be.
So really kind of far away sounding. Up here makes it more up close.
No
Dryness or wetness, I'll lower it.
one knew.
It sounds really plain. And when it's like up here, sounds like got some kind of echoey vibes and delay there. The delay time, I wouldn't set it too high because then it sounds like.
Oh my darling.
See, it's like it keeps talking over itself, so that can get kind of annoying. So I would keep it kind of low. You can kind of keep it in this range right here. But yeah, I never really touched the high or low pass things. I haven't really noticed them to do much. Feedback, you don't really need to mess with that. But yeah, that's kind of like a basic vocal chain. Like I said, I would just mess with these presets and then just add things as you will. Some stuff you could add is maybe a de-esser. That helps reduce like the S sound, the really high pitch, like type. So I would usually put that around 6,000 right there. Start from really high. It's gonna make the S's really aggressive and annoying. You just lower it until you like it. But yeah, there's lots of options here. You can kind of mess around with lots of little tools here to help make your vocals stand out in a mix. Like I said, it's not auto-tune, it's just trying to connect it to the song. So yeah. Alright, so right here is my file with all my harmonies. So I usually like to do the same thing, just set the tempo and all that, and put in the music track at the top there. So I actually did a single file for each one of these. So like a bass, I put the bass and the low in one file because I had enough room to do enough layers for each of them. The mids and the high harmonies are same thing, just put them in the same file. So each of these, like the bass, the low, the high, there's the mid, they all have multiple layers of the same, like I'm singing the same thing probably like 3 times. So for example, this one.
This, I swear, is true.
So that's like my falsetto kind of stuff. There's probably like 3 or 4 layers of that. Mids.
Ooh, this, I swear, is true.
So that at the end there sounded kind of weird. That's that minor 4. Right here we have the lows.
This, I swear, is true.
The bass. This is a really low bass song.
This, I swear, is true.
See, I was kind of struggling to hit it, but even so, the actual bass guitar, or in this case, I used a bass, like the string instrument. It kind of helps level that out and bring out more of the bass sound. So this is fine. Yeah, this is what it sounds like together. Kind of loud.
This, I swear, is true.
So I figured out these harmonies kind of just by listening, and then I added some of my own things. When you're making a harmony, it's pretty straightforward, just singing the chords of the song. So I mean, if we have 4 chords, just try and stick to the closest note as the chords are changing. So like there's not much variation in these. See, it's still like stays pretty close to each other. Like this kind of stuff is where it gets crazy. Not there.
I will never make you cry. This love will be eternally.
So that's the kind of stuff you kind of just gotta have a good ear for. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of harmonies. This takes a lot of effort and listening, so it's hard for me to really explain it, but as long as you're singing the notes in the chords, that's the most easiest way to go about it. Or just singing it by ear and just naturally kind of understanding, singing in thirds or fifths. That's the easiest way to sing them. So